defense that night as they really stopped the Cavaliers, holding them to just 2 scores, and take away a few turnovers in that game, it could have gone the other way.
Exactly, Brian. Both defenses, like you said, are playing great. You have to give credit to the Westminster defense, too, in the Urbana game. They held Urbana through the entire first half. Urbana had many scoring opportunities in the first half, and the Westminster defense shut them down. Of course, they ended up losing that game to Urbana because, you know, things got out of hand in the second half. But for the entire first half, the defense was right on. So I think both teams, it should be interesting because, like we said, the running game's going to be a factor with Chris Durden and Steve Suter. So it'll be interesting to see just how solid both defenses are tonight.
We saw the team captains at midfield, the North Carroll sideline. Coach Bill Rumball in amongst the folks somewhere on the sideline. We'll get a shot of Bill a little bit later on, but there's your captains for Westminster. Scott Carnegie, not in pads, as you see, wearing the jeans tonight. The starting quarterback for the Owls out with the injured rib. Alan Cook, the county's top tackler. James Staller and Matt Farver are the captains. Steve Suter among the captains for North Carroll, along with Vinny Iadavaya and Trevor Stockman. And we're back here at Westminster High School. We apologize for some technical problems here in the early going. We missed the opening kickoff. Brad Durden on the return for the Owls, setting up shop here for Westminster at their own 28-yard line. The Owls will work from right to left here in the first quarter. Ryan Baer, the young quarterback, hands off to Brad Durden. Durden across the 30 to the 33-yard line, brought down by Greg Weinbrenner of the Panthers. Durden, the county's second leading rusher, having an outstanding season for Westminster. Brad's numbers include 935 yards rushing, 14 touchdowns for the junior. He got 4 that time, 2nd down and 6. Ryan Baer under center, the young quarterback. He's thrown just 1 pass this year, filling in for the injured Scott Carnegie. We saw Scott in the pregame wearing the jeans. Now the option play, it's the first back through, and nothing that time. Steve Suter came through to make an outstanding play, putting the hit on Doug Thompson. Andrew Stump in there as well for North Carroll as we check the offensive starters for the Owls. Up front, their big offensive line, Ridgway, Fitzgerald, Blevins is the center, with Riley and McFeely on the right side. Rafe Bridges is the tight end, with Smalls and Jarrett at wide receiver. Jarrett this year with 8 receptions. Again, a change of quarterback, Ryan Baer with Brad Durden and Doug Thompson in the backfield. 3rd down, we'll call it 8. The give is to Durden. Durden is stopped in the backfield, back at the 28-yard line. We talk about teams being fired up for this one, while the Panther defense playing inspired defense. Let's check those guys right now. Coach Bill Rumball in his 7th year. His lineup shapes up like this: Iadavaya, Stockman, McNamara, and Duncan, along with Dabkowski up front. It's a 5-2 set with Weinbrenner and Stump, who helped out on that last play. Suter and Busick are the safeties. Dalgarno and Wingate are the cornerbacks. The Owls 3 and out on their first possession. Rafe Bridges to punt. And back deep for the Panthers is Trey Ford, back at about the 27-yard line. Underway here at Westminster High School. It's a great night for football, a mild evening here in late October. Taken by the up receiver. Looked like his knee was down, and it was. Eric Busick on the return, and his progress is to about the 42-yard line. So the Panthers will start this possession in pretty good field position at their own 42. And talking about quarterback changes for Westminster, well, North Carroll came out with one a week ago. We haven't mentioned this yet, and we will throughout the course of the telecast, but we'll see a young man, a sophomore, see his second taste of varsity action. The Panthers, 2 wins and 6 losses. The Owls are 5-3. Now the Panthers work from left to right here in the first quarter. As Wingate goes wide, the flanker in this set is Suter. Suter is not in the backfield. Iadavaya is the up back. And Hackler wants to throw, goes far side for Suter. The pass is overthrown. And Wesley Howard on the coverage for the Owls. And again, a different look to North Carroll's offense somewhat than what we've seen earlier in the season. And we'll check out those guys right now. Up front, it's Painter and Fisher on the right side, with Weinbrenner at center, Stockman and Duncan on the left side. And the skill players, Mike Krause is the tight end, Zach Wingate is the wide receiver. There's Hackler at quarterback with a 3-back set. Suter, Iadavia, and Ford. Suter the halfback, Iadavia is the fullback. 2nd and 10 for the Panthers. From the I formation, Hackler at quarterback. He wants to throw on 2nd down, goes out for his man. He's got Kraus, who makes the catch, has a 1st down and more inside the 35 to about the 33-yard line. Mike Kraus, his 5th catch of the season. That's a Panther 1st down.
Brian, that's very interesting to see here. Right out of the bat, Hackler has come out throwing. That's not something that North Carroll has done a lot this season. They've gone more with the running game, and here they've already started out passing. It's worked to their advantage. They've come up with a 1st down, and I think this could be a little bit of a surprise for Westminster.
Justin Hackler, 5'7", 145. He's not a big guy. He's a 10th grader. He's not an old guy either, but he's a confident young man, and Coach Rumbaugh likes his confidence. He likes how he works in practice. And he's playing varsity football as a 10th grader. From the 33, 1st and 10 for North Carroll. He'll throw again, coming near side. He's got a man, it's Suter. Suter breaks 1 tackle, and Suter's across the 25 to the 23-yard line. Another completion for Hackler as Cook helped force Suter to the field. The Owl defense has been outstanding this year, very good at forcing turnovers. And the Owl defense, a big part of their success. Tyndale, Fitzgerald, Howard, and Jasilitis are the 4 defensive linemen. Farver, Cook, Cheney, and Howard, they don't get much better. A great quartet of linebackers. And the secondary, Thompson, Jarrett, and Jimmy Stoller. That last play close to 1st down yardage. They'll bring out the chains to see if Suter got enough progress to pick up a 1st down. Indeed, he did, says our referee, Joe Matthews. So another 1st down for North Carroll, their 2nd of the game. And North Carroll threatening here early, 8:53 to go in the 1st quarter, just underway. Again, Brian McLean with Amy Allingham here at Westminster High School, a school that celebrates its 100th anniversary. And the team so far 5-3. From the I, it's Iadavia. Off tackle, Iadavia wrapped up quickly as Alan Cook came through. Alan Cook, the county's top tackler with 101 through 8 games.
You're definitely not going to get much on this Westminster team, Brian, if you decide to just run up the middle on them. They're all big guys. They have good size, and basically, like you said, they played solid defense the entire season so far. And as we've seen, when Westminster goes to throw and they go to the outside, that's where they've been able to come up with the 1st downs.
1 yard for Iadavia, 2nd down and 9 at the 22. Iadavia once again the up back. A different look for North Carroll. Suter being used as a flanker and wide receiver. They go his way this time. Suter one-on-one. He's got yardage down the sideline. Suter out of bounds at about the 15. Flung out of bounds by Doug Thompson with Jason Jarrett. But again, we're seeing Suter lined up out wide.
Yeah, that's definitely not something we're used to seeing, but it's been effective here for the Panthers so far in the 1st half.
A new quarterback in Justin Hackler, and if you will, a new position for Steve Suter. They want to isolate Suter. That time he was one-on-one with Thompson, got around Thompson, and then help there from Jarrett. But good yardage for the Panthers, very close to a 1st down. In fact, they're going to bring out the chains to see if North Carroll picked up another 1st down. South Carroll's on the road tonight. The Cavaliers 2-6 at Frederick. Liberty having their homecoming game tonight. The Lions at 4-4 hosting Linganore. Meanwhile, Francis Scott Key at 2-6. They're away at Catoctin. As we see Suter about a yard shy. It'll be 3rd and 1. And Western Maryland College still undefeated, as you know. They beat Franklin and Marshall last week. They'll be back home tomorrow to play Widener in a non-conference game. If you're watching on Saturday morning, that's coming up this afternoon, folks. 1 o'clock at Scott Bear Stadium. And we'll see Western Maryland again in 2 weeks as they take on Johns Hopkins in their season finale. From the 14, 3rd down and 1. Suter near side. Iadavia is the up back. Hackler under center. On the option play, the option is to the fullback, Iadavia, and it appears he's been stopped short of the 1st down. The Owls again around the football. Steve Howard among them. Stephen Howard, number 71, with the play. It'll be 4th down. They lost about half a yard on that play. So it brings up 4th and 1 at the 15. Now North Carroll will call a timeout. So North Carroll spends its first timeout. They have 2 remaining, and will step aside as well. Decision time for Coach Rumbaugh and the Panthers. They decide to go for it here on 4th and 1. Already 2 receptions for Steve Suter. He has 14 on the season, but a tough task here facing 4th and 1. Ayadavaya gets the call. He's off tackle, very close to a first down. Initially, it looks like he got it. And indeed he has. North Carroll goes for it on 4th down and picks up a big first down.
Brian, North Carroll doing a really good job of controlling possession here in the first half. This is a little bit shocking for me. I wasn't quite expecting this to start out with, and maybe I was underestimating the power of North Carroll.
When 2 county teams get together, you never know. It's the oldest cliche in the book, and people get sick of us saying it. But we have many, many examples over the years when the favorite comes in, the home team or whatever, and something surprising happens. Steve Suter outside, breaks 1 tackle, gets around another would-be tackler. Suter down the sideline, he's out of bounds inside the 5-yard line. Almost another touchdown for Suter. And he is unbelievable. 14 touchdowns for him this year. And North Carroll looks like they have it 1st and goal.
Brian, that's the Steve Suter that we came to see. He is one of the best athletes in this county. Like we said, it was going to be a Suter-Durden show tonight. He showed just how athletic he is as he broke through 3 or 4 tackles, and his speed helped out with that one. He was able to come within, you know, a yard or 2.
1,368 yards, 9 yards a carry, 14 touchdowns, his 8-game numbers. And right now, North Carroll has a 1st and goal at about the 3. No score, first quarter. The Panthers threatening a fumble on the snap. Hackler has to fall on it. And we'll see whose football it is. And there's an example of a young quarterback. North Carroll has recovered. It'll be 2nd and goal, but sometimes that center quarterback exchange, it's hard to say whose fault it is, but with a new quarterback, there's an adjustment to be made.
Well, you also have to think that now he could probably really be feeling the pressure because this is a big game for him here. They're within scoring reach, and, you know, maybe the nerves had a little factor to do with that. Not really sure. We'd hope not.
2nd and goal at the 4. The Owls had the football. They were 3 and out. North Carroll now with a drive that has gone about 54, 55 yards. They've gotten 3 first downs. The option, Hackler will keep it himself. The play is strung out, and down he goes. Back near the 10-yard line. Doug Thompson with a big play defensively. It brings up 3rd and goal.
Doug Thompson brought down Suter earlier. This time he takes down Hackler instead.
Now lost back to the 9-yard line, brings up 3rd and goal. And here's an example where Hackler had to make a decision and nobody there to pitch it to, and 4 blue jerseys there to say, welcome to varsity football. Always baptism under fire sometimes for these young guys.
Well, you're not going to walk all over this Westminster defense either, Brian. They're really going to show you that they're there.
3rd and goal. Suter will come near side. Ayadavaya is the up back. Again, Busick is the tailback. Hackler's going to throw. He goes to his left. Nobody there, and the pass is going to be incomplete, almost intercepted, as Jason Jarrett was there for the Owls. Looked like there might have been a communication problem between quarterback and receiver, as we got a shot there of 2nd-year coach Scott Tobias of the Owls.
Yeah, I think there was probably a lot of miscommunication on that one because there wasn't even a receiver within 10 feet of him, Brian. So
4th and goal. North Carroll deciding to go for it here in 4-down territory. They're 1 for 1 so far in 4th down conversions. 5:20 left in the first quarter. Still scoreless at Westminster High School. This time Suter goes far side. Same offensive set from the I formation. Josh Ritz near side. Suter with a catch to his left for the corner. He dives and he is in the end zone. Touchdown, Steve Suter. 9 yards on the play, and the Panthers lead 6-0.
Well, you talk about his speed and his agility, and he showed it right there. He had one guy guarding him. He was able to get around him, and as long as you have the ball in the end zone, as long as the ball crosses that line, then it's a touchdown. You don't need to have your whole body in there, and he was able to outstretch his arms.
When the knee is down, it's where the ball is. As long as the ball is over the plane before the knee is down, that's a touchdown, and there's a great shot right there. 6-0 Panthers. Steve Suter, 9 yards from Hackler. And now the extra point attempt coming up here by Mike Kraus. as Wingate will be the holder, and the kick is blocked. Blocked by the Owls. Coming through to make the play was Jim Staller. So it stays a 6-0 game here in the first quarter. So a timeout on the field. 5:12 to go in quarter number 1. It's North Carroll 6, Westminster nothing. Steve Suter with an outstanding effort. Goes for the corner, and that's very, very close. Again, it's where the football is when the knee is down. And from that angle, it's not conclusive, but the official right there. And a touchdown for Suter, his 15th of the season. The ensuing kickoff returned by Jim Staller. And the Owls will have the football for the second time tonight.
Better field placement here after that return, Brian. Staller was able to get a little bit more yardage than Durden on their first attempt.
And the Owls will start this drive at their own 35-yard line. Again, working from right to left. The Owls' final home game. They'll play at South Carroll next week. North Carroll will have their homecoming game in a week as they host the Lions of Liberty. Here come the Owls now. And Ryan Baer, the young junior at quarterback, under center. On 1st and 10. Bridges was in motion. He's the tight end. The give is to Durden, the tailback. There goes Brad. Brad breaks a tackle. And there goes Durden to the 40, 35, 30, and down to the 25, inside the 25-yard line. Big play for Brad Durden, 40 yards, and a Westminster first down.
Zach Wingate and Greg Dalgarno, the only ones back there for the Panthers, able to bring him down, and they weren't even really close to him. They had to run to catch up to him. Great run here for Durden.
Brad Durden, second in the county in rushing, 935 yards, 5.2 yards a carry. Like Steve Suter, has 14 touchdowns. Almost broke that one. And the Owls getting a big play offensively for the first time tonight. They're at the Panther 25, facing 1st and 10 from the I formation. This time it's the up back Thompson. Thompson about 5, maybe 6 yards inside the 20. He was ankle tackled by Andrew Stump. Bill Rumbaugh, the head coach of North Carroll in his 7th year. His lifetime mark 17-51, including 6-4 3 years ago. The Owls and Coach Scott Tobias in his 2nd year, he is 11-7, coming off a 6-4 campaign 1 year ago. 2nd and 5 for the Owls, just inside the 20. Baer under center. It's Brad Durden off tackle. Durden up the middle. He's gone. Touchdown. Brad Durden. I was about to say he was gone. Steve Suter had another idea, but indeed, Mr. Durden scores, answers his counterpart Suter, and we're tied at 6-6.
Well, just like his run before that, Brian, he broke through a couple tackles. There was some holes in the line he was able to get through. Suter was the last guy there, and Suter had him, but just couldn't hold on to it. Durden, a pretty big guy, able to get in there. Just like that, the Owls have tied this game.
Brad Durden goes 6'1", 215. Hard to bring him down one-on-one. Suter tried to trip him up there inside the 10, but it wasn't going to happen. And now the extra point attempt, Sergio Loinez already for the PAT. He has 11 this year, and now make it 12 as the Owls take the lead for the first time tonight. Loinez converts, and Westminster leads 7-6. A timeout on the field, 3:40 to go in the first quarter. It's the Owls 7, the Panthers 6. Westminster Owls, they convert quickly to take the lead for the first time. Kevin Riley and the guys on the sideline as the Owls score on the Brad Durden touchdown run, 20 yards, and the Owls lead 7-6. Loinez on now to kick off as Steve Suter is back deep for North Carroll. It's a good kick. Busick back deep as well. It's Busick from the 5 to the 15. And just shy of the 20 is Eric Busick. Good downfield tackle for the Owls. Good special teams play led by Eric Nixon, number 51.
Suter gave him a block there, but just not enough. He was able to get maybe an extra 3 yards or so with the block by Suter. But it's going to be real tough now, Brian, for the Panthers because they're deep in their own territory. Not very good field placement to start here.
And they'll start this drive at about the 20. And North Carroll with the football. Wingate will come near side. Suter again lines up as a flanker in the different offensive set. Hackler, Iadavaya, and Busick. The Panther backfield, much different from early September. It's a slight delay to Busick, and Busick tackle for a loss back near the 15. Stephen Howard giving credit for the tackle. Howard came into tonight's game with 49 tackles. Loss of 5 on the play, 2nd down and 15 at the 15. 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. The Owls by 1. This time Matt Capice comes near side with, again, Suter at flanker. Hackler flushed out of the pocket, comes across the middle, and the pass is almost intercepted. Alan Cook right there to bat it down, and almost an interception by the senior linebacker.
Once again, I think there was some miscommunication on the part of the receivers with Hackler on that play.
And Justin, in no man's land, probably better advised to just run with the football here instead of throwing it up for grabs. No chance at all for Wingate or Capice, the intended receiver. And that was nearly 6 more for the Owls. 3rd and 15. Meeting 13 between these two county rivals. The Owls again have the slight edge, 7 games to 5. Hackler to throw, sets up a screen for Busick. He makes the catch. Busick comes near side to near the 20-yard line. Down he goes, well short of a first down. A screen play that really didn't develop. Staller on the tackle, but on screen plays, Amy, you want that wall of blockers in front of you. That's why it's called a screen play. I saw very few, if any, white jerseys in front of the receiver.
I didn't see any white jerseys there either, Brian. And like we said, the Owl defense, maybe it came up, started the game a little shaky. Now they've just been solid since then. And if you don't have anybody else there to help you, those guys are going to come get you.
5 yards for Busick, so Steve Suter on the punt here for North Carroll as they face 4th and 10. A interesting snap. Suter is going to let it fly anyway, and he had some momentum behind that one. A good punt taken by Staller at the 36. He's across the 40, picks up a great block from Thompson. Now he reverses his field. He's across the 45 to the 49-yard line. Vinny Idavayo on the tackle, but a great block by Doug Thompson.
Well, you can hear the Owl fans. They're very excited about that play. Staller breaking a few tackles, got some great blocks, like you said, Brian, able to pick up a few more yards. They'll be just shy of the 50.
A game of momentum shifts. North Carroll got the ball for the first time, quickly scored. They converted 2 4th-down conversions. The Owls respond with a touchdown of their own. Now they take over near midfield at their own 49-yard line. The Owls by 1 with the football. Bridges the tight end, works over toward the right side. From the eye. Double wide outs far side, and the give is to Thompson, the fullback, and he gets maybe a yard to the 50.
Dave McNamara in on the tackle for the Panthers.
The Owls 5 and 3, Liberty's 4 and 4. South Carroll, North Carroll, and Francis Scott Key are 2 and 6. There is not an official county championship for football, although the Owls right now could go out with the best county record if they can win their last 2 games. They are 1-0. Liberty, South Carroll, and North Carroll are 1-1. 2nd and 9 from the 50. It's Brad Durden. And Durden gets about 2 to the 48. Steve Suter on the play for the Panthers. I asked Bill Rumbaugh the other night, I said, how are you going to stop Suter? He says, well, we'll try 12 on 11. And I said, I don't think that's okay, Coach. Are you going to go out there and suit up? He said, I'm going to give it a shot. If we have trouble, you got to come down and play. I said, I don't think so. That could be very, very frightening.
Can you play football?
No.
Right?
Maybe when I was about 12 with a Nerf. That was about it.
Maybe flag football for me.
Yeah. 3rd down and 8.
You can't get hurt with that.
And now Bear doesn't like what he sees, and Ryan calls a timeout for Westminster. That's their first, so they have 2 remaining, like North Carroll. And the Owls will face 3rd down and 8 from the 48. 33 seconds to go in the first quarter at Westminster High School. It's the Owls 7, the Panthers 6. 8 at the 48-yard line of North Carroll. 1 setback this time. It's Durden. Trips to the far side. Ryan Baer, the quarterback. Late first quarter. Now we have a flag thrown. This might be against the Panthers as Dabkowski, the nose guard, jumped. And again, folks, in high school football, once you break the plane, the play is blown dead. You don't have time to go back and get onside, unlike the pros. And that is the case, a 5-yarder against North Carroll.
North Carroll defense definitely doesn't want to get penalties like this, Brian. You don't want to give up those easy penalties. I mean, you've really just got to be able to.
First flag thrown by our crew tonight. Joe Matthews, again, the referee, with Jimmy Norris, the umpire. Carl Streakers, the line judge. Blake Hazlips, the field judge. And John Euler is the back judge. Third down, we'll call it 3, just inside the 45. Same offensive set, long count by Bear. It's Durden up the middle. There goes Durden. Nobody can stop him. Durden across the 20, down to the 17-yard line. Another Westminster first down as Brad Durden showing why he is closing in on 1,000 yards for the season.
Huge hole in the line, Brian, for North Carroll. Durden, there was nobody there. You can see he runs right through. Finally, Eric Busick in the backfield able to bring him down, grabbing him by the ankles.
He needed 65 yards to get the 1,000 mark. Unofficially, we think he's there right now. We'll check it for you, of course, at halftime. But Brad Durden having an outstanding season. He was a big part of this team a year ago as a sophomore. He and McGinnis and Smalls and those guys were a big part of the team. Here he goes again up the middle, and he is to about the 12-yard line.
Again, the same hole on the left side, Brian. He's able to find his way through.
Scott Tobias likes his offensive line, and they show why here in the first quarter. The quarter has come to an end, but Bill Rumbaugh and the Panthers down by a point, and the Owls are threatening once again. We've played one quarter at Westminster High School. Through one, it's Westminster 7, North Carroll 6. Westminster performing during the break. We've played one quarter. The Owls lead by 1, 7-6. They face second down and 2 right now at the North Carroll 11-yard line. And Brian McLean with Amy Allingham for high school football on PB3. The Owls and Panthers. Bear, the quarterback, works from the I formation. Durden up the middle. And this time Durden tripped up at about the 9. Very close to a first down.
Trevor Stockman able to bring Durden down on that one for the Panthers.
Brad Durden, just a junior, folks. For you Westminster fans, you'll enjoy seeing him again next year. 5.2 yards per carry. Just shy of the first down, so third down and less than 1. McGinnis comes near side, as does Jaspert, as the wide receivers. Bridges the tight end again on the right side. Thompson in front of Durden. It's Durden off tackle. Brad's got a first down and more, down to about the 5, maybe 4-yard line. First and goal for Westminster.
Well, all he needed was about a foot or 2, and he was able to pick that up, Brian. Now the Owls in great position here to possibly put another 6 on the board.
Ryan Bear filling in for Scott Carnegie. The word on Carnegie, he injured a rib in the Liberty game a few weeks back. He has toughed it out since then. The Owls played Liberty back on September 24th. He has played 4 games since then. And this week it just got worse, and he can't go tonight. We got word of that yesterday. And he is questionable for next week against South Carroll. So we wish Scott all the best, and unable to go tonight. First and goal for the Owls. Durden as he bangs into his quarterback Bear, and not much that time.
Probably a little miscommunication on that one. Bear, I think, probably turned the wrong way.
Steve Suter on the tackle, 34 tackling 34. You mentioned that in the pregame, Amy. The top 2 running backs in the county statistically, both wearing number 34 and both with outstanding seasons.
I think that you can't even argue that, Brian. Both tremendous athletes.
Second and goal at the 5. North Carroll's blitzing. Durden off right tackle. Durden for the end zone. He's in. Touchdown, Brad Durden. Touchdown, Westminster. And the Owls now lead 13-6.
Suter tried to catch up with Durden on that one, but there's just no stopping him once he's crossed that plane.
Durden now with 16 touchdowns on the season. He is just a load. Follows his block, and no stopping him. Brad Durden, his 2nd touchdown of the night. His game best this year, 3. And the Owls will go for the extra point. Sergio Loinez, the former soccer player turned place kicker, has 3 field goals and 12 point-after touchdowns this year. Jason Jarrett's the holder. Jarrett puts it down. Loinez lets it fly, and Sergio misses this time. It stays a 7-point lead for the Westminster Owls. A timeout on the field with 10 minutes and 1 second to go in the first half. The Owls increase their lead. It's Westminster 13, North Carroll 6. And cheerleaders were honored before the game tonight. They had their 100th anniversary game for homecoming back for the Frederick contest. They invited all the past homecoming queens, or as many as they could, of course. 28 of them showed up.
Wow. For
that particular evening. That was a great night for a lot of folks, and it's a historic year at Westminster High School. And this kick is going to be a touchback into the end zone, an automatic touchback in high school. Once again, like a punt, once a kickoff is in the end zone, it is a touchback. They celebrated 50 years of football a few years back. The school celebrates its 100th year overall this year. And a lot of history here at Westminster High School. A great traditional football program, the unbeaten, untied team in 1963. Herb Ruby, Earl Hirsch, the outstanding coaches, Jim Head, and some great people. The late Herb Ruby got it all started for this great program many, many years ago. Now North Carroll with the football, down 13-6 with just over 10 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Hackler, the quarterback, gives off to Iadavaya. Iadavaya across the 20 to about the 21.
Yeah, not much gain on that play for the Panthers, if any at all.
Justin Hackler is older brother Vince, attending Western Maryland College, good lacrosse player. And Justin keeping the Hackler family going here with high school sports in Carroll County. That time we'll give him a yard. 2nd down and 9 for North Carroll. Vinny Iadavaya having a nice season in recent weeks. This time the toss back to Suter in his customary tailback position. And nothing for Suter this time. Thompson held him up. Alan Cook, among others, came through. Brian Jasilitis as well. And a short gain for the county's top rusher.
Well, like you said, Brian, 4 Westminster guys over there. I talked to those guys before the season even started. And the only thing they had to say is, wait till North Carroll comes to town and wait till Steve Suter gets here, because we're going to show Suter a thing or two. Those guys way before the season even started. So I tell you what, they all want to get a piece of Steve Suter tonight.
Well, they talk the talk and they walk the walk. We'll see tonight. And Steve Suter has been contained at times this year. He was held in check against South Carroll, but still had 90 yards and a touchdown. That's a bad game for Steve Suter. And again, talking to Coach Rumbaugh this week, he says we take him for granted sometimes. We look at his overall numbers and say maybe it's a disappointment. No way. He's had a great season. There was talk of the 2,000 yards and so forth. That's very, very tough to do. Hackler to throw. He's got a man, and the completion is there to Zach Wingate. That's a Panther first down across the 30-yard line. That's
the first time we've seen him throw in a while, Brian. But there is a flag on the play.
And roughing the quarterback on the defense. So high school rules, to the best of my knowledge, they'll tack on 15 more despite the completion. That was a new rule brought in a few years ago to protect the quarterback. Is in theory, the defense might just go after you, and if you complete the pass and nail him, and there's no harm done. We'll see it here. Bear going out, and he was sandwiched a little bit there. And it's 15 more yards, a costly penalty against the defense.
This could be a big momentum turner here, Brian, for North Carroll. You add on 15 yards to a great completion. Now let's hope they can just make something of this.
They'll spot the football at the 46. North Carroll down by a touchdown on offense. This time the back split. Now the traditional look of a wing tee, which we really haven't seen tonight so far. Iadavaya, the fullback, gets the call. His progress near midfield.
Only about 4 yards gained on that play for Iadavaya.
Tyndale giving credit for the tackle. There's Coach Rumbaugh in the middle of your screen. He's been kind of hiding from us tonight. That's not Coach at all. No, that's not Coach. We saw him earlier. Bill Rumbaugh in his 7th year. That was Coach, wasn't it? Okay, you have better eyes than me. For some reason, a different look for Coach by my eyes. I don't know why. Trey Ford goes in motion. It's a counter. It's Steve Suter. Suter has a first down and more. Now it's a foot race. 20, 10, forget about it. Touchdown, Steve Suter. His second of the game, his 16th of the season, and North Carroll's within 1 at 13-12.
Brian, what we've said about Steve Suter all season has been his speed, and right there you can see it. When he's out in the open, nobody's going to catch up to him. I think Alan Cook was back there trying to chase after him. You're just not going to do it.
A simple counter play. They ran motion toward the far side, came across the other way on the counter. And of course, his speed does the rest. Steve Suter. And again, I'm talking to Coach Rumbaugh. You're on the road tonight. You have a big crowd at Westminster. How's that going to play into it? He says, hey, that's a fun, enthusiastic game. It goes both ways. The visitors get pumped up with that as well.
And there's a good-sized North Carroll crowd here at Westminster. Of course, North Carroll only about 20 minutes up the road, so not a very far drive to come to see some good football.
Well, they say you play for a tie at home, a win on the road. The Panthers down by 1, go for a 2-point conversion. It's a sweep to Steve Suter. The play is strung out, and down goes Suter at the 3-yard line. So Suter cannot score, and it stays a 1-point lead for Westminster. So the Owls decide, or rather the Panthers decide to go for 2 after their first extra point attempt was blocked earlier tonight, and it comes up short. And the Owls hold on to a 1-point lead. 7:31 to go in the second quarter at Westminster High School. It's now the Owls by 1, 13-12. 2-point conversion unsuccessful, and the Owls now get the football back. Brad Durden on the return here. He was one of the upbacks. He's across the 35 to about the 37-yard line. Now the Owls back on offense, working from left to right, leading by 1. Trevor Stockman giving credit for the tackle for North Carroll. Panthers again 2-6. They're winless in the CMC. The current CMC standings finds Urbana and Linganore on top, and they will meet next week to wrap up the season. Urbana tonight playing another Frederick County foe. I believe they're playing Thomas Johnson, and Linganore's playing Liberty. And right now Urbana and Linganore top the CMC again with perfect marks at 5-0. From the eye, it's Thompson, the fullback. Thompson left side. Thompson fights for yardage, gets about 9 to about the 48-yard line.
Zach Wingate doing a good job for the Panthers, bringing him down.
And one of the Owls shaken up. That was John Fitzgerald. John favoring his arm as he comes off the field on his own power. And we hope John is okay. And I want to clarify something that I've been misspeaking about for weeks and months and maybe even years. John Fitzgerald, a great football player, has played youth football here in the Carroll County area, and I've been mentioning his days with the youth football programs. Actually played with the Winfield program in the early 90s, not the Gamber Smallwood program. So my apologies for the misinformation, but an outstanding player. Now the Owls looking for more with Brad Durden. Durden, it's a foot race down the sideline. He's gone. Holy cow. Brad Durden. A touchdown for Westminster, his 3rd of the game, and the Owls now lead 19-12.
Unofficially, Brian, I'm going to say that was about 55 yards for Durden. Durden has some speed too. With his size, he's got some pretty good speed. Left wide open.
Well, his touchdown runs alone give him 80 yards, so he's over the 1,000-yard mark for the season, no question about it. And look at the moves and the speed of Brad Durden. Again, he weighs about 215 and runs well. And the Owls now in the end zone for the 3rd time tonight, as Loinez on for the extra point. Jarrett to hold. Loinez 1 for 2 so far tonight. Jarrett gets it down. Again, the kick is plenty long enough, and the kick is good. So the Owls now enjoy their biggest lead tonight at 8 points with 6:28 to go in the first half. There's your score. Westminster 20, North Carroll 12. Back to Westminster High School after these messages. Westminster Owls set to kick off. Busick and Suter are back deep for the Panthers. And it comes down to Suter at the 5, 15, 20, 25, and down he goes at the 26-yard line. Steve Suter on the return for North Carroll. Greg Tyndale on the tackle for Westminster.
Well, once again, Brian, the Panthers are going to have to start deep in their own territory. Well, not so bad. Not as bad as the last time.
Coach Rumbaugh's Panthers will start this one just at about the 26-yard line. Coach Rumbaugh coming up from Virginia 7 years ago from the Loudoun County area. Scott Tobias, the head coach of Westminster, been here for quite a while. He was actually an assistant coach for Jeff Oeming and Frank Montaneos, his predecessors. Co-coaches the baseball team with Jimmy Rodriguez during the spring. It is going to be Trey Ford's turn this time, his first carry of the game, and his progress is to about the 33.
About 5 yards on that run for Trey.
Ford doesn't carry the ball much, but he's made a lot from his opportunities this year. 9 carries, 93 yards, and 2 touchdowns entering tonight's game. They gave him 7 that time, 2nd and 3 at the 33. Second quarter action, 5:50 to go. The Owls with an 8-point lead at 20-12. North Carroll with the football. It's Iadavia, the fullback. Cook hits him once. And now Farber gets a piece of him. Close to a first down. He might be about a half a yard shy.
Well, Cook's showing why he's one of the best in the county.
Stephen Howard also around the football. And you're right about Cook. Averaging about 12 to 13 tackles a game this year. And that time, Iadavia's progress very close to a first down. They'll bring out the chains here. North Carroll's first possession, Steve Suter scored. It was a 9-yard touchdown run. They later scored here in the second quarter on a 45-yard run. As you see, Iadavia inches short of the first down, so third down coming up. An offensive battle so far at Westminster High School.
Just shy of the first down, Brian.
At the 36. Justin Hackler, the quarterback, as Ford goes in motion. They're going to throw on 3rd and short. It's a pop pass for Suter. Suter makes the catch, and down he goes at the 44-yard line. Matt Farver on the coverage, but a Panther first down.
Suter doing a good job of getting that pass, Brian. That's one of those passes that it just didn't have very much oomph on it.
Once again, a pop pass out for Suter. Suter was open. He beats his man Farver along the sideline. Nice play for the Panthers, and another first down.
Dylan needs an excuse to get close to his new neighbor.
Are you all right, sir?
There, we apologize for that. Following the first down play on the completion to Suter on 3rd and short, the Panthers throwing the football. Now we have a problem with the scoreboard. Play resumes, however. Trey Ford, the ball carrier. Ford across the 50 to about the 48-yard line of Westminster.
That one's going to be close to a first down too, Brian. Just a couple yards shy.
8 yards for Ford, 2nd down and 2 just across midfield here in the second quarter. Trey Ford again with only 9 carries entering tonight's game. This is second of tonight, and he pays for it just a bit here. Oh, what a play, and what a hit made by the Owls' Brian Jasolitis.
That's why I don't play football.
2nd and 2. Now we're going to get an official's time in here. The scoreboard still showing goose eggs. We had a power outage, folks, and if you've been coming to Westminster High School this fall, and this is not to put down anybody or anything, they just had a power problem here at the stadium, and when the power goes out, we lose power in the press box and the scoreboard. Now the scoreboard getting updated as we speak. It's a 20-12 Westminster lead here in the second quarter. So if you lose this from time to time and we have to go to break, that's going to be the problem tonight, and we hope that was the last time that'll happen again. It's Halloween weekend. Maybe that's the reason. I don't know, but we'll see how things shape up here tonight at Westminster High for the 9th game of the season. Play resumes. The clock showing 3:43 and running. 2nd down and 2. Steve Suter. He's got the first down. He's across the 45 and down to the 42-yard line. The football came loose, but it was not a fumble. And North Carroll will retain possession.
Tell you what, Suter almost was able to break that ankle tackle, Brian. He still was able to get another yard off of that one.
1st and 10 for the Panthers. As long as Ford can produce an Iadavia, that takes some pressure off of Suter. The defense can't key on him just alone. As we have an injury timeout, one of the Owls is shaken up. And that really will benefit the North Carroll offense if they get some running production out of guys besides Suter to open up things for him. That is the game plan of North Carroll. As we see one of the Owls shaken up. And that is Jamel Smalls. Jamel, a junior. Big playmaker. Had a big impact on this team as a sophomore a year ago. Very fast. Can play running back and flanker, and he appears to be okay. Comes up and off the field. Comes up off the field, I should say, on his own power. And when play resumes, North Carroll has it 1st and 10 at the Westminster 42. 3:26 to go in the first half, an 8-point lead for the Owls. North Carroll with 2 first downs on this drive. From the 42. Ford goes in motion. It's Idavaya. Idavaya comes near side. He's inside the 40 to about the 37.
Idavaya gained about 5 yards, 5 or 6 yards or so on that run.
Corey Cheney giving credit for the tackle. We'll give him 5. It'll be 2nd and 5. So again, the Owls, or rather the Panthers, facing 2nd down. The Panthers working from right to left here in the wing T offense behind Hackler, the young quarterback. Trey Ford is the wing back. The backs are split. On 2nd down, Hackler looking to throw, rolling out to his right, looking for Kraus, fires, and the pass is incomplete, in and out of the hands of Kraus at the 25-yard line. Farver, among others, on the coverage. An historic year at Westminster High School this year. Again, 100th anniversary, a lot of things going on here at a school rich in tradition. Tonight it's the Panthers as their football opponent, and there's the attempt at Kraus. And Kraus a little behind him, but a play he probably could have made. But the pass is incomplete. It brings up 3rd down and 5. North Carroll and Westminster. The rivalry goes back 12 years. It's been a great one over the recent seasons. Trey Ford goes in motion. And it's up the middle to Steve Suter. Suter bounces off of one would-be tackler, and down he goes at the 26-yard line. Wesley Howard on the stop for Westminster. Steve Suter, 2nd in the county in rushing a year ago behind Liberty's Calvin Stacy, who graduated. And Suter, you just can't wrap him up with just the arms. It usually takes a part of the body and sometimes help from a teammate to bring him down, showing why he's the county's top rusher through 8 games. First down for the Panthers as they knock on the door here trailing by 8, 20-12. And once again, Suter gets the call on a trap play. Alan Cook, among others, on the stop for the Owls. Suter and Vinny Idavaya complementing each other very well. The backfield, as we said earlier, has a little bit of a different look this year or this time of the year compared to earlier in the season. But Coach Rumbaugh making some changes, and of course a brand new backfield tonight with quarterback Justin Hackler in there as well. And there is Hackler, number 15. Busick in the backfield. He's the tailback. On 2nd down. Back to pass is Hackler. Going long for the end zone. He's got Suter. And Suter is there. Touchdown, Panthers. Steve Suter, for the 17th time this season, finds the end zone. And North Carroll, once again on the scoreboard, they trail by 2 at 20-18. Steve Suter finds the end zone for the 3rd time tonight. A 23-yard touchdown pass from Justin Hackler to Suter. Suter now this year with 17 touchdowns, and it pulls the Panthers within 2 points, 20-18. And what a throw by this sophomore. This young man is playing with a lot of confidence. Suter wide open. And Hackler to Suter, the connection is there. And a 2-point lead for Westminster. North Carroll now, of course, will go for 2 and go for the tie here in the final moments of the first half. Idavaya is the up back. Busick's the tailback. Hackler will throw. Comes near side, and the pass is intercepted. That's a dead football. Jamel Smalls with the pick. and it stays a 2-point lead for Westminster. So North Carroll coming downfield to score. They convert and pick up 3 first downs. Hackler to Suter. It's now a 2-point game. Late moments of the first half at Westminster High School. It's the Owls 20, the Panthers 18. Back at Westminster High School. It's a great one tonight so far, folks. You may consider the Owls the favorites, being home, and North Carroll having lost 6 in a row. But hey, county teams head-to-head. We've seen some great games over the years. And North Carroll, they showed their talents early in the season. Their defense has been playing better. They've shaken up the offense a little bit. They've come to play tonight. Here come the Owls now, the ensuing kickoff. Stoller with a good return across the 40 to about the 41-yard line. So the Owls with the football and a 2-point lead. The official time right now being kept on the field, folks. We apologize for not knowing the time, but again, the power outages tonight, we've had 2 of them in the first half, and it's knocked the scoreboard out. So we'll see how much time the Owls have to work with here. Coach Rumbaugh and the Panthers and Coach Tobias and the Owls both with 2 timeouts remaining. And the Owls with the football at their own 41. This time they spread the offense. Ryan Baer is the quarterback. 4 wideouts, and I beg your pardon, a different look at quarterback that time, Jason Jarrett, as we have a flag down. And really a busted play for Westminster all the way back to the 31-yard line. Chris Duncan, among others, on the stop for North Carroll.
Dave McNamara in on that stop.
Joe Matthews and the officials discussing the penalty situation here. It appears to be against Westminster as he gives North Carroll the option. They may take the play with the loss on the play, which will also take away a down. Trevor Stockman. Illegal substitution on Westminster. That play looked a little funny. They had 4 wide receivers, and I don't know, I mean, it wasn't 12 men on the field, but has to do with the huddle and so forth and how you substitute. And the Owls call for the infraction, but the penalty is declined, and it should be 2nd down. With the loss, it is 2nd down. Back at the 35-yard line, so 2nd down and 15. The Owls by 2, this time 3 wide receivers. Baer will come near side, and the pass is incomplete. Overthrown, intended for Mike McGinnis.
We haven't seen Baer throw the ball too much tonight, Brian. So far, he's really just handed it off.
1 for 1 for 8 yards, his numbers entering tonight's game. He threw 1 pass in the game a week ago. That time McGinnis is intended receiver. McGinnis this year with 10 receptions for 91 yards. 3rd and 15. Again, Jarrett the quarterback. A shift here. Jarrett's got some running room. He's across the 50, out of bounds at the 47-yard line. A 1st down for Westminster as quarterback and, yes, wide receiver and defensive back Jason Jarrett picks up the 1st down.
Absolutely great run there for the Owls and for Jarrett. He had some time. He had some room to move.
Jarrett, known as a receiver, 17 catches this year for 190 yards, and we've seen his athletic ability. What a game he had against Liberty back in late September. That time about 17 yards and a Westminster 1st down. Jarrett will throw this time. The pass is caught by Smalls, and Jamel Smalls to about the 39-yard line.
Greg Weinbrenner and Steve Suter there with the tackle.
Owls have called a timeout. That's their 2nd. They have 1 remaining. So things getting interesting here. The Owls with the football, a 2-point lead, closing moments of the first half. They have 1 timeout remaining. So we'll step aside here. 2nd quarter action, moments before halftime. It's Westminster 20, North Carroll 18. To change to see if they picked up the 1st down on the pass completion to Smalls. They're going to be inches short, and the football will be at the 38-yard line of North Carroll. Again, the Owls with 1 timeout remaining. And very, very close. And you see Joe Matthews about 1 3/4 inches. So 2nd down and very, very, very short. Might need the credit card to slip in between the nose of the football and the chain to see if there's enough there. Very close. Jamel Smalls, his first catch of the night, by the way. And they need just a few inches. The pass is caught by Jaspert, Julian Jaspert. He has first down yardage to the Panther 31.
Easy first down conversion there for the Owls, Brian. They were able to pitch it outside.
Owls in the hurry-up offense here. They have one timeout remaining. The clock now running as they move the chains. The official time again kept on the field. Again, Jarrett the quarterback as they make a change here in the second quarter. Jarrett running out of time. He lets it fly. He's got Howard, but it's picked off by Steve Suter. The intended receiver was Wesley Howard. North Carroll gets the turnover, and that is a touchback.
Well, Steve Suter was down there. He had the great coverage of Howard. The pass just a little underthrown. Suter was in front of Howard. He was able to come up with it. That could be a big turnover here for Westminster, even though there's just a little bit of time left in the half.
Jason Jarrett airs it out. He had Howard, but Jarrett might have waited a second too long here to allow Suter time to get back on the coverage, and there it is. Suter with the interception. We talk a lot about his running back skills. He's an outstanding defensive back, and there's been talk of him maybe being a wide receiver at Maryland, maybe a defensive back if things don't work out for him as a running back. With Mr. Jordan, he won't see much playing time at running back next year as a freshman, but he could be an impact player on defense. Time will tell. From the 20, the Panthers down by 2. Trey Ford goes in motion. It's a counter play. Ayadavai, the ball carrier, nowhere for him. In fact, a loss on the play.
Probably a loss of about 5, Brian, for the Panthers.
And they'll give him progress to about the 14. So second down and 16 for North Carroll. Look there at Ryan Baer and Brad Durden on the Owl sideline. Again, Coach Tobias going with a different look at quarterback, and the first half is ended here at Westminster High School. So a great game so far. It's a 2-point contest, and stay with us. We have ourselves an exciting one, and it should be a great second half. Halftime at Westminster High School. It's the Owls 20, the North Carroll Panthers 18. For the Owls compared to 95 for North Carroll. Passing yardage, as you see, North Carroll through the air 8 of 12 for 96 yards, while the Owls were 2 of 4 for 16 yards. And North Carroll with the football to start the second half. From the I formation. On the toss, it's Suter. Suter on first down gets about 5 yards to the 25-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 5 for North Carroll. The Panthers down by 2. Opening up with possession here in the second half. It's been the Brad Durden, Steve Suter show tonight. Both teams with 3 touchdowns by those young men. We've had 6 scorers tonight, 3 apiece by Suter and Durden. The Owls by 2, as you see. 2nd down and 5 from the 25. Justin Hackler, the young quarterback, still in there in the wing tee. Ford is the wing back. He goes in motion. The give is to the fullback, Ayadavai. Ayadavai near the 30-yard line. He'll be about a yard shy of a Panther first down.
Ayadavai doing a great job against this Owl defense tonight, Brian. He just kind of plugs away, muscles his way through there most of the time.
He's a big young man, as we've said, 5'8", 185. Good low center of gravity, a typical build of a fullback at 185, 195 in that range. He's about a half a yard shy of a first down. Westminster and North Carroll, our next to last regular season game. The Owls need a win tonight and next week, and some help to perhaps make the playoffs since 1981. Ayadavai, the ball carrier, he's got a first down across the 30 to the 31.
Well, you grab a yard here, a yard there, and that's how you do it.
North Carroll with a first down. Their 10th of the contest at the 31-yard line. Coach Scott Tobias in his second year. Jeff Oming, Mark Hefner, and Jeff Kent are his assistants, along with Tony Carty, Kevin Vassil, Don Mongold, Jed Harris, Matt Mathias, and Matt Bean. Forward in motion. Hackler wants to throw. He goes far side, and it's incomplete. Almost picked off by Wesley Howard. If Wesley makes that catch, he's gone.
Tough play there for Hackler, as he almost did throw the pick.
Penalty flag on the play. Just our third penalty of the game. Pass interference on the defense. That's an automatic first down for North Carroll.
Tough call there for the Owls, Brian. I didn't see anything that I would think would be pass interference. Looked pretty clean to me, but maybe I was looking in the wrong place.
Well, it could have been away from the football, too. Sometimes interference can happen. Perhaps Howard maybe gave a nudge to get the extra advantage, but from that perspective, it doesn't look like anything occurred. So you might get a defensive holding penalty in a case like that. That's a different call, but that was a pass interference call, and a big one, 15 yards for the Panthers. They're at the 46-yard line. Inside handoff to Ford. That play had no chance at all as Greg Tyndale came through untouched to make the tackle in the backfield.
Well, there's the strength of the Owl defense right there. Able to break through. I believe that's the first sack on the night, though, for Hackler.
Tyndale this year, 49 tackles and 9 sacks through 8 games. Great defensive numbers. A loss of 4 on that play. It'll be 2nd down and 14 back at the 41. Third quarter action. A 2-point lead for Westminster. Hackler on a draw play, a fumble on the handoff. Suter able to get it back, and there goes Suter. Suter, he breaks a tackle, and he's gone. Steve Suter all the way for the score, 59 yards, and North Carroll has taken the lead.
What a play by Suter. As getting up on the field is James Stoller. Stoller was the last guy in the way of Steve Suter, and he hit Suter hard, but Suter kept going. And now North Carroll has their first lead of the ball game.
Steve Suter fumbled the handoff, and maybe it froze the defense for a second, and when you run a 4.3 40, that's all you need. Stoller had a chance, forget about it, and Steve Suter goes all the way, 59 yards, his 18th touchdown of the campaign, and North Carroll leads 24-20, and they will go for 2. 7 touchdowns in this one, 4 for Suter and 3 for Durden. The 2-point conversion up the middle to Ayadavai. It's not going to happen. North Carroll denied again on the 2-point conversion play, but they have taken the lead for the first time since the first quarter when they led by 6. They now lead by 4. Third quarter action here at Westminster High School. It's North Carroll 24, Westminster 20. For the score, North Carroll, as you see, by 4 now, 24-20. The official time being kept on the field. Another power outage right before the second half began to knock out the scoreboard, so that is stopped at 11:45, but that is not the official time as Kraus kicks off for North Carroll. And fielded by Westminster at the 22-yard line across the 30, now 35-yard line. The Owls will have the football at the 35. On the return was Julian Jaspert. And here comes Westminster.
We've seen a lot of momentum changes in this game, Brian. An extremely close game. Both teams' defenses playing extremely well. Both teams' superstar running backs playing extremely well.
The Owls have outscored the competition this year 168-129. So they're averaging about 21 points per game offensively as Brad Durden gets the call, and the juniors across the 30, rather 40, to about the 41-yard line.
Gain of about 7 on that play for the Owls.
Turnovers hurt North Carroll in their South Carroll loss. The Owls have done a great job in turnovers this year, a +19 ratio. In other words, 19 more takeaways than giveaways, which is often the case for winning football teams. The Owls are 5-3, 3-2 in the Central Maryland Conference, 1-0 against county teams, or 1 victory against Liberty. Second down, a short 5. Across the middle, the pass is batted down and incomplete. Greg Weinbrenner got his paw on it. It'll be third down.
Well, we haven't seen Bear throw very much today, Brian, and when he has, it's been incomplete or almost picked off like that play.
Ryan Baer again with his first varsity start. Was just 2 of 4 in the first half, as we mentioned earlier. Brings up 3rd down. Now we have time on the clock. The clock is running, 8 minutes and 10 seconds to go here in the 3rd quarter. Next week, Amy and I scheduled to be at South Carroll for the Owls and Cavaliers. On 3rd down, play action for Baer. He goes far side. He's got a man. It's Thompson. Thompson breaks a tackle down the sideline. And Thompson inside the 35 to the 33-yard line. Doug Thompson with the catch, and the Owls have a 1st down.
About a 35-yard gain there for Thompson, as he was able to break a few tackles of his own.
Zach Wingate made the stop, but not before a 1st down on the Baer to Thompson connection. Thompson, tall, kind of lanky, showing good speed, picks up the 1st down. The Owls at the Panther 33. 24-20 North Carroll. The Owls starting to threaten. Counterplay to Durden, and not this time. His progress wrapped up in the backfield. Dave McNamara was the first one to get through.
McNamara been a key player for the North Carroll Panthers so far tonight, Brian. He's come up with some big plays inside. And a pretty big boy, too. 6'2", 330.
I wouldn't wrestle him. That wouldn't last very long. Actually, the progress, they'll give him -1 yards. It appeared to be more than that, but 2nd down and 11 at the 34. Dave McNamara, an offensive and defensive lineman, but mainly playing defense in recent weeks. Durden again, this time off the left side. And he's to about the 29-yard line. Football came loose, but the play had been blown dead.
Greg Weinbrenner that time bringing Durden down.
Next week, we're at South Carroll. In 2 weeks, we're at Western Maryland College for the Green Terrors season finale against their rivals from Baltimore, Johns Hopkins, the Blue Jays and the Green Terror. And beyond that, to be determined. But we have a good feeling we could be bringing you some postseason football action from the Hill. A blitz here. Baer gets away. Confusion by Stump. The pass is complete to Bridges, the tight end. And Bridges is down to the 25.
Well, that was a close play there for Baer.
It almost looked like Stump thought he was tackling Baer when he wrapped up a teammate. He had a piece of Baer. Baer got away. And the Owls get the completion. However, it brings up 4th and 3. And the Owls in 4-down territory, the proverbial 4-down territory. They will go for it here. 5 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Now some confusion. The Owls want a timeout, then they're going to get it. So confusion there with the formation. Baer was under center, and Thompson and Durden didn't like what they saw, so they call a timeout. That's their first. They have 2 remaining. So we'll step aside here in the 3rd quarter with 5 minutes and 20 seconds to go. It's North Carroll by 4. The Panthers 24, the Owls 20. Indeed, on 4th and 3. North Carroll showing blitz. The lone setback is Durden. Long count from Baer. He wants to throw. Rolling out to his left. He fires and the pass is caught down the sideline. A 1st down for Westminster as Julian Jasper made the catch for the Owls.
Well, they decided to go for it, Brian, and it works out for them as they're able to pick up the 1st down. Baer had just enough time to find his receiver.
And gotta say, the numbers might not be spectacular overall, but the play of both quarterbacks in their very young varsity careers have not embarrassed tonight. Baer hooks up another completion here in the 3rd quarter on a big 4th and 3. Jasper's progress to the 13-yard line. North Carroll by 4. The Owls threatening. Bridges in motion toward the left. From the eye, the up back is Thompson. He gets the call. And Thompson inside the 10 to about the 9.
Gain of about 5 for Thompson.
Have a halftime score. I know this is a tape delayed telecast, but if you're watching on Saturday morning and didn't catch what was going on last night, the Linganore Lancers, power from the Frederick County area, on top of Liberty at halftime, 42-13. Spoiling so far the festivities of Liberty's homecoming down in Eldersburg. Also playing tonight, South Carroll at Frederick and Francis Scott Keys at Catoctin. 2nd and 5. Brad Durden off left tackle. Durden looking for his 4th touchdown tonight. He is wrapped up just inside the 5. Zach Wingate made the stop.
If Durden's arms were just a little bit longer, Brian, he probably would have had a touchdown on that one. But instead, Wingate able to bring him down.
Well, he picks up the 1st down. However, the Owls could get a 1st down without scoring, and they've done that. It'll be 1st and goal at the 2. The clock running, 4:37 to go in a quickly moving 3rd quarter. What a game. The Panthers and the Owls, 28-20 last year. The Nick Farber show as the Owls beat the Panthers in Hampstead. A 4-point game here. Durden gets the call, and right down he goes as Stump came through to make a great play defensively. Andrew Stump, the sophomore.
Sophomore having a great night tonight, Brian. Making some key tackles there, able to stop Durden.
A year ago, week 9 was the Westminster Liberty game when the Owls beat the Lions by a point, scoring a touchdown late, getting a 2-point conversion. What a game that was. It was almost a year ago to the day. We have a great one here brewing, the Panthers and the Owls. 2nd and goal for Westminster at the 3. From the eye. McGinnis goes in motion. The give is to Durden off right tackle. He is denied as he is brought down at about the 2.
David McNamara again for the Panthers. I'll tell you what, Brian, if the Panther defense can hold the Owls here, that would be a big momentum change in this game if the Panther defense is able to shut the Owls down right here on the 1-yard line.
We don't know if a field goal will be an option for Coach Tobias. Of course, Sergio Loinez has the range where they are right now. That would give them 3 to pull them within a point. And that could be an option with a lot of time left in this ball game, 3 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. But that remains to be seen. 3rd down and goal. Same offensive set. McGinnis is near side. The give is to Durden, the tailback. Durden up the middle. His progress is there. He's in the end zone. Brad Durden, who at halftime had very impressive numbers, scores his 4th touchdown of the night. He had 156 yards rushing at halftime, and he gives the Owls the lead at 26-24.
Well, Durden is your go-to guy. He's been doing it all night. Why not give it to him one more time? I think him and Suter are having a little competition as to who can score the most touchdowns in the game.
Do you think they're the top 2 running backs in the county?
I would think so.
I'll tell you, these two have put on a show tonight. 4 touchdowns apiece. I got to think long and hard about the last time I saw 2 running backs with 4 touchdowns in one game as Loinez tacks on 1 more. And now a 3-point lead for the Owls. And a great contest at Westminster High School. 2:51 to go in the 3rd quarter. It's Westminster times tonight, a 20-yard run in the 1st quarter, a 5-yard and 55-yard run in the 2nd quarter, and now a 3-yard run here in the 3rd quarter. Brad Durden, 4 TDs. The ensuing kickoff. It's Wingate on the return. He is popped inside the 15-yard line. North Carroll now backed up in tough field position. They find themselves down by 3, 27-24, with 2:42 to go here in the 3rd.
North Carroll, again, Brian's going to have to battle their way up the field from this one, back deep in their territory. But we've seen them able to make the big plays so far today, so.
Could be a blessing in disguise that they eat up a lot of time here. Of course, that's not really an issue at this point in the 3rd quarter, as they'll start this drive officially at their own 14-yard line. The wing T set. It's Steve Suter right side, and Suter 2, maybe 3 yards.
Owl defense there, 4 guys able to shut down Suter again.
Alan Cook among them, along with Brian Jasolitis. Jasolitis' numbers this year, 52 tackles and 3 sacks through 8 games. The Owls have beaten Laurel, Loyola, Liberty, TJ, and Frederick. They have lost to C. Milton Wright, Linganore, and last year's Class 2A state champion Urbana Hawks. Trey Ford goes in motion. Vinny Iadavia is the ball carrier. Tyndale hit him initially, but Iadavia gets a couple of more yards. Wesley Howard finishes off the play.
There you can just see Vinny's strength, Brian. He's able to muscle his way through there.
He's a junior as well. A lot of underclassmen at the skill positions out here this evening. 3rd and 2 following the efforts by Iadavia. The Panthers at their own 22-yard line. 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining. Here in the 3rd quarter at Westminster High School, Brian McLean, Amy Allingham here for the Panthers and the Owls. Trey Ford goes in motion. The backs are split. It's a counter play to Steve Suter. A penalty flag comes in. Suter breaks a couple of tackles, and what an effort by the Panthers senior all the way to the 35-yard line. But a flag is down back at the 18.
Steve Howard initially made the first hit on Suter, and then finally it was James Stoller who brought him down, Brian.
And a face mask penalty against the Owls, and again a difference from high school to college or high school to the pros. It's 15 yards regardless of how severe. That is a big one. Face masking and roughing the quarterback are probably the 2 biggest penalties in high school football, because it's always tacked on to the end of the play. So Suter with a great effort to the 35. Add on the penalty, and North Carroll has the football at midfield.
You know, early in the season, I kind of coined Steve a nickname, Superman, because I just thought that that would be apropos. And tonight, with a play like that, I don't know, I think it kind of sticks.
Maybe he'll be Superman for Halloween this weekend.
Hey.
Just getting a start 2 days early. Happy Halloween, by the way. From the 50, 1st and 10. North Carroll down by 3. Iadavia gets a tough yard to the 49, maybe 2.
Matt Farver on the tackle there for the Owls. He's also a senior.
What are you going as this year?
I haven't really decided yet. Isn't that horrible?
You better hurry.
I know.
I was going to be a South Park character, but I've decided to be a monk. You can say what you like.
No, that's all right. I think I'll just let that one be. Wait, if you're a monk, does that mean you don't get to talk?
That's pretty hard. I hope not. 2nd down and 8. A flare out to Suter. Steve breaks 1 tackle, spins for yardage, and Suter down at midfield. Officially a loss of 1. And what's going to conclude the 3rd quarter. When we come back, North Carroll is going to face 3rd and 10 at the 50, down by 3 to start off the 4th and final quarter. Stay with us, my friends. It's a great one through 3. Westminster 27, North Carroll 24. It goes back 13 years. Another memory being made tonight. Somebody will come away with a victory. A 3-point lead for the Owls as we start off the 4th quarter. North Carroll facing 3rd down and 10 at the 50. Hackler back to pass across the middle, and he goes out for Krause. The pass is incomplete. Doug Thompson with the pass breakup for Westminster.
Doug Thompson coming up big all night too, Brian, for the Owls on defense.
Offensively, he has 2 touchdowns this year. Defensively, 52 tackles coming into tonight's game. Brings up 4th and 10. North Carroll, no choice but to punt here. Jamel Smalls on to return for the Owls. Steve Suter will punt for North Carroll. Smalls awaits back at his own 13-yard line. Owls come after him, and a near block by Stoller. He runs into Suter. No flag. It's going to be Smalls from the 9. Smalls with a good return across the 25, out of bounds at the 27-yard line. Wingate wrapped him up and forced him out of bounds, along with Zach Dabkowski. There was contact made with the punter in the backfield, which in high school you see it right there. Some contact made by Stoller, excuse me, and no call. And again, in high school football, whether you run into the punter or rough the punter, it's 15 yards regardless. But in the official's opinion, Stoller's momentum, he was kind of blocked into him, so no flag. From the 27, this time the Owls have trips in the backfield. Kind of a power eye look. It's the tailback, Brad Durden. And Durden's progress is to the 35-yard line, a gain of 8 yards.
Eric Busick on the tackle there by Durden. Durden really just tripped up a little bit.
The Owls going with the 3 running backs in the backfield, 2 halfbacks in the fullback, or I should say 2 upbacks in the tailback. Not a true wishbone, not a true power eye. The same offensive set. It's Durden once again. That second back brought on the block, and you see why. Durden all the way to the 49-yard line. First down for Westminster. Greg Weinbrenner finished off the tackle for North Carroll.
Durden just showing his strength as he has found a way through the left side of the Panthers line.
27-24 Westminster. The Owls have it at their own 48, first and 10, 10 minutes and 54 seconds to go. Bear hands off to the up back. It's Thompson. Thompson tackle for no gain. Brought down by Zach Dabkowski. And stumped there as well.
Got to give a lot of credit here to the North Carroll defense because, Brian, a lot of these guys also play on offense. They don't get much of a break. They play the entire game, and that's a lot of wear and tear.
25 players on the roster for North Carroll, not very deep. And many guys going both ways. Second down, just shy of the 49-yard line. Play action, little bootleg for Bear. He comes near side. He's got Thompson, and the pass is nearly picked off. Incomplete. Kraus almost caught it, but the ball hit the ground before he made the diving interception. It's an incomplete pass. Brings up 3rd and 10.
The pass was intended for Doug Thompson. Thompson just was not able to come up with it. And a lucky break for the Owls. The Panthers weren't able to come up with it either.
True. You can't blame Ryan Bear for that one. That ball should have been caught, and it was nearly picked off. So 3rd down. Ryan Bear showing confidence from the 49. And Scott Carnegie out tonight with an injured rib. He's questionable for the South Carroll game. Bear going to air it out. He's got a man wide open. It's Jaspert, but the pass is overthrown. Julian Jaspert was all alone, but it's going to bring up 4th down.
That was a great throw, and had they made it, it would have been an easy 6 points for the Owls.
And that's experience. Bear aired it out, but threw it a bit too soon to Lee Jaspert. So the punting team coming on here for Westminster, Rafe Bridges will be the punter. We talked about the Linganore game last week. Rafe had a tough night trying to angle punts and so forth. Linganore had the ball inside the Westminster 35 on 4 occasions, but for the Owls defense, they only lost by a touchdown despite that. It's been a memorable year for the Owls. They beat TJ for the first time in 9 seasons. Here's the Bridges punt. They keep it away from Suter and Busick and Ford, and it goes out of bounds along the near sideline.
Well, that was the technique that South Carroll used as well, Brian, on the kickoffs. They didn't want to get it to Suter. They didn't want to put it in his hand, so they kicked it all around him.
North Carroll football at their own 27. 9:57 to go. They're down by 3. They have 3 timeouts remaining. Westminster High School the place, the Owls' final home game. Again, they're currently in 12th place in Class 4A. The top region teams, each region winner I should say, get a bid into the playoffs, and the top 4-point earners aside from them go on to the playoffs as well. A field of 8 make the playoffs in each classification for football, which start the weekend of November 12th and 13th. Vinny Iadavaya up the middle across the 30 to the 33. Trent Bosley giving credit for the tackle. Gain of 5 yards for Iadavaya. 2nd down and 5.